What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to Tower Defense Tuesday. Today we are taking a look at good old faithful, and that is Defense Grid 2. Now this is an older game. Most of you are already familiar with the Defense Grid franchise, I'm sure, because if you are a fan of PC tower defense, it doesn't get any better than this. In fact, Defense Grid, in my opinion, is what all PC or console tower defense games should use as the standard. Just as far as top-down, straight-up tower defense, Defense Grid and Defense Grid 2, it's tough to even pick a favorite, to be honest with you, are just the best tower defense games I personally have ever played before in my life. Now, in addition to that, right now the Steam Halloween sale is going, and you can get Defense Grid 2 for 75% off, so $3.74. If you do miss this sale, there's no doubt that it will be on sale again in the holiday coming up soon, but 75% off, it's a steal. It will give you hours and hours of entertainment just to get through the campaign itself and play a few of the optional maps. You're easily going to get 40-50 hours of enjoyment out of it just for $3. That's, in my opinion, that's just a great deal. Now, as you see here, their Defense Grid 2 is also incorporated with the Steam Workshop. You can build your own maps, so custom levels are indeed a thing. You can create them, you can download them, and in fact, if you create a map and it actually gets picked to go into the Defense Grid in-game store, the maps can be found or they sell for 99 cents each, and the creator of the map actually gets a cut of that, so pretty darn cool. Now, as far as tower defense games go, we got the usual encyclopedias. All of our towers are listed here, and they are some fun ones. We've got a boost tower, which is basically like a little platform tower. We've got the regular gun tower, the good old-fashioned machine guns. In my mind, a tower defense game without machine guns is just not, it's just not the same. I just gotta have the pew-pew and that rapid fire flying off. We got the big flamethrower tower, the Inferno. We got a laser beam. We got long-range cannons. We got a temporal to slow all those baddies down. We got Concussion Towers, which is an AoE tower. Drops explosive grenades in an area around the tower. This is actually one of my favorite towers in the game right here. We've got the Meteor Tower, exactly what you think. It's going to launch some big old meteors all the way across the map in some situations. We've got the missiles. We've got a Tesla. Of course, a Tesla tower has got to be a thing. And these towers are customizable as you're playing through the game, and you can pick and choose for each particular map exactly what you want to do with it. So let's take a look at this map here, map number 15, the Refuge. Story mode, you see all the different game modes. There's just lots of game modes. DG Coordinated Defense is indeed co-op. You got Fixed Resources mode. The Grinder and Super Grinder mode are two of my absolute favorites. You got Power Outage, Focal Point, no red towers, so you can't upgrade to red. Just lots and lots of options. We're going to stick to the story mode, and there is full voiceovers and a story that goes along with the campaign itself. That's always awesome. Now, once we load up, we can choose our commander, and depending on which commander you pick, you're going to get a various ability that goes with it. I'm a big fan of Advisor Zakara, and the reason being is Advisor Zakara is going to enable the Tower Overcharge special weapon. What this is it's going to allow me to upgrade a tower with Overcharge and instantly increase its damage by 25%. No build time here, so it's something that you can use on the fly and just plain awesome. You got General Kai, that's the OG, and it has the Orbital Laser. Now, the Orbital Laser has saved my butt many a time, but I still just love going with Advisor Zakara. You got Professor Briel. Enables the Resource Reinforcement special weapon. You got Colonel Rizzler, Temporal Blast special weapon, and Admiral Phillips Precision Targeting special weapon. We're going to go back to Advisor Zakara, that way I can get as much damage out of my towers as I can. let's hop on in and give this map a whirl. Now, Defense Grid and Defense Grid 2 is all about the mazing. It gives you the option to basically create the map. You do what you want to do, you create the mazes, you funnel all the mobs together into your various little killing areas, and in my mind, it's exactly what tower defense is meant to be. In fact, if anyone ever mentions traditional top-down tower defense to me, Defense Grid is without a doubt the very first franchise that will pop into my mind. Let's go ahead and check it out here.
Commander, a little further and we'll finally have a place for our passengers to settle.
And then to Ket.
She has a one-track mind, doesn't she, Commander?
Perhaps. I do suspect that Fletcher is there, Simon.
I hope so, but that will have to wait. We need to clear this planet once and for all.
Agreed. It's really pretty here. Oh, wait.
Alright, so, of course,
We'll continue this later.
you have no idea what they're talking about because I jumped forward and I'm not planning on playing through the whole story here. But let's go ahead and get some things lined up here. We're just going to start off with 2 guns right out of the gates.
Boost towers, gotta love them. They block aliens, you can build a tower right on them, and they give special abilities to towers built on them. I mean, come on!
Now when you throw down your boost, it is instant, so it will instantly change the path of the mobs, which is pretty darn cool as well.
Special powers. That's right, you heard me.
Now your resources in the game are based off of interest, so the more resources you can hold as mobs die, the greater your score will. And if you look in the top right hand corner, it actually gives you a running graph as you're playing the maps, which tells you what your score is versus your best or your last runs, which that's just pretty cool as well, so you can gauge yourself and see exactly how you're doing as you go. That was a little close there, but that's alright. Let's go ahead and throw... I kind of want to get a temporal in. I left the space empty, that way we could throw a slow right in the middle. And it seems like that's probably the thing to do here now. So I'm just going to keep building it out. Now, as I mentioned, you do want to hold your resources. That's part of the strategy of the game. The higher the resource pool that you have when the mobs die, the more score that you are going to get. And, you know, of course, it is a leaderboard chasing game, so it is all about maximizing the amount of resources you can hold on to get the best score you possibly can. Let's see, let's throw one more gun right there, and then we'll start working on this area. Now this area here, I'm going to go with those Concussion Towers that I love so much, but let's go ahead and get the pathing all figured out here before we quite get to that point. I'm going to have to block that one off as well to keep the enemies from pathing through this way. Now, I actually, even though I haven't played the game in a long time, when I played through the game before, the custom maps weren't a thing. They were just implementing that right as I stopped playing it. So there is actually just a ton of maps in the Steam Workshop that I could hop into and check out, and it'd be a completely new experience for me. And that is just awesome. One more concussion here, and I think I'm going to sit on these resources for a minute and try to get a little bit of score going. You see, I'm barely ahead of my last run. Now, of course, being a tower defense game, you can speed it up, and you set that in the settings. You can choose what your fast forward button does. I've got it set where my fast forward button gives me 3 times speed, so let's go ahead and pop that, and we'll get these baddies flying on through.
I think he just called you by your planet name. He seems confused.
Alright, let's go ahead and just start building it out a little bit more here. And then eventually here I'm going to want to get some upgrades in. Now I should have thrown a flamethrower right here, but a little late, no regrets. What can you do? It's already down. I don't want to sell it and lose the resources, so I'm just going to go without. However, I do have all of these boosts over here that I want to take advantage of, And those meteors have a really, really nice range, and it is splash damage. So when the meteor hits, it does blow up. And I've got these meteors set with additional fire damage. So they are doing some fire AoE for any big packs that come when the meteors hit. Now let's go ahead and start working on, let's actually get the overcharges upgrade. I mentioned the reason I wanted to bring this commander is this overcharge. As you see, it's only 200 resources versus upgrading the tower. It stays persistent with it as the tower does get upgraded, and it's going to give me a 25% boost to the damage that gets done. Now this big row of concussives right here is just dropping grenades all around there and tearing stuff up. You see we've got some enemies that dropped right in on the core. Now defense grid, it's not about getting to the core, it's about stealing the cores and then getting back out with the cores. So basically the enemies are trying to actually steal the cores from us and take them out of the map. Let's go ahead and slap some upgrades here, and let's get this temporal upgraded. I usually do that right away, and I haven't played in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty. And then in addition to that, on the temporal, I always like to put this disruptor, which is similar to the overcharge, but what the disruptor does is it's going to temporarily remove shields of any baddies that have shields in that area. Let's see, let's get all of these concussives up to tier 2. We're looking good there. And then I want to sit on these resources for just a second, but then I want to throw a round of upgrades on all of these guns and get the machine guns just jacking out the damage there. You see we've got another one of these guys that popped in and did the backdoor approach here. They just drop right down on the core course, so the objective with these guys is just to keep all of these little guys that it spawns from being able to make it out with any of my cores. And they are definitely getting wrecked, so I think we can go ahead and do some upgrades on these guns. I'm just going to take it right down the row, and let's get a little bit more upfront damage here. And that the guns, of course, are all single target.
Core back in the house where it belongs.
And then, you know what? Let's get these meteors upgraded as well. First off, let's overcharge them all. Get that 25% boost, and that's instant. So, no build time. And I'm going to hang on to this again. I am beating my previous score, so hopefully, it's been a while since I played it, but hopefully I can beat that old score just knowing the strategies. We're looking good. It's actually really, really close to what my old score was. Burn through them now.
Gun towers just make me happy sometimes.
Very nice. See, let's get these other 3 upped. And then once again, I'm just going to sit on my resources a little bit. We're at wave 21 now, and you see this particular map is a 30 wave map. So we're 2/3 of the way there. We're actually past the 2/3 mark now. So we're definitely closing the gap, and nothing has really made it in here yet. Now I do feel like it would be smart to get at least half of these concussives up to red, which is tier 3 and the highest that you can go. So why don't we start working on that? Let me go 2 of them for right now, and then once again just hold on to the resources and try to get my score jacked up just a little bit more. We got wave 24 rolling in. Now the little icons on that bar above you, you will become more familiar with them as you play. They are telling you what is coming or what the composition of that next wave is. So those little icons will help you get through the game by knowing what's coming next. That way you know whether or not you need to hold on to your laser or get any specific tower upgraded before another. I almost said Pacific Tower there. Nope, I mean specific, not Pacific. We got the two backdoor beds again, and these are shieldies. I kind of want... I mean, it's so close to the end now, I hate to even bother, but I kind of want to throw a disruptor right here. It looks like those tier 3 concussives are just going to wreck it though, so it should be okay. And this temporal actually reaches all the way over there, so that's kind of nice too. Now, of course, these bands are dropping the cores, and you see the cores are going back. So going back where they belong. The objective, of course, keep all of your cores. As you see the cores bar on the top left, the orange cores are cores that are out and away from the objective. Of course, if there's no color lit up there at all, and it's just blacked out, that means you lost that particular core. So we got wave 27 now. Let's go ahead and hit up one more concussive tower. Let's go ahead and get that one upgraded.
Concussion Towers just make me happy.
They make me happy too, Commander. And here we go. I think this will probably hold through the end of it. I'm going to try to sit on all of my resources, not build anything else out, and see how this does. This might be a new high score for me. It's actually looking like it's going to be. Now, of course, when you enter the grinder and super grinder modes, those are 100 waves, so it takes a while to run them. However, you can really do some crazy builds. You can end up just mazing the entire map, and there are some very big maps. Like in this situation, you could path the mobs all the way over here, through an additional maze, and then up into the core here. There's just a lot of different options. And that was, looks like that was a new high score for me, so that's pretty awesome. But that is a quick look at Defense Grid 2. As I mentioned, it's 75% off right now on Steam. That's kind of a no-brainer. You just have to have it if you don't have it already. Defense Grid 1 and Defense Grid 2, I cannot recommend strongly enough to anyone that are looking for some good quality tower defense. You will get hours and hours of enjoyment, and there's lots and lots of replay value with both of these games and the entire franchise, really. And the biggest crime out there with Defense Grid is that Defense Grid 3 is not being made currently, and that would be just amazing if it was. However, you know, a lot of development went into Defense Grid and Defense Grid 2, and it's tough being the tower defense genre and putting that much effort into a PC tower defense game without it being some sort of action defense type setup. However, that will do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with more Tower Defense Tuesday coming up next week. We'll see ya.